I've read like 4 books this month, which is kind of a letdown from the past 2 months because the past 2 months I read a lot, but after starting this job, I'm like, I'm so tired.
Dude, now you understand.
Yes.
Because in February, I think I read like 12 books in February.
Yeah.
Which is insane because February is a short month. That's like 2 books a week, which is a lot for me, especially because I work a full-time job, I volunteer, and girl don't have a lot of time, but I speed read a lot of those books. So
yeah, and the books I have been reading are majority rom-com or sports romances because they're easier to read.
See, I need to get back into the fantasy worlds because I'm like, I have been so out of it, but I'm like, so much mental capacity.
Literally, because you have to like understand the new world and all these characters and like the magical systems if there's any, and it's like, but I did read Assistant to the Villain, and that one was really good. Although it left off on a cliffhanger, and I went to go get the second book, but the local bookstore closed because they were like relocating. So when I went to go get the second book, I couldn't. So that's a next weekend thing.
The next one that I think I'm gonna read is, where is it? The Ever King. I think that's what I'm gonna read next. Or Fallen Gods, but I only have the first book of that one, so
yeah, I think I'm gonna read Immortal Consequences.
Okay, this is reading between the lines. We're both emotionally unstable, but that's okay because we're doing it together. So go team.
I'm realizing that I need some sort of smuttiness or some good, like if it's a YA, it's got to be good tension, like high and paid in, because otherwise I'm gonna be bored.
I could have told you that you wanted that months ago. Because when I tell you to read a book and there's smutty scenes in it, but they're taking too long, you're like, next. You're like, where is it? Like, I'm bored.
I'm sorry. Okay, in fantasy it's different. But like, okay, when you go from reading YA to then reading like not YA, you're like, okay, I see what the world is about now. Why would I go back to YA? You know?
Yeah, I guess. But for me, like, it's the emotional stuff that really gets me. Like, that, like, I need that. Like, that's what I really connect to.
Okay, same though, because like the Wolf King is not YA.
No.
But there's not a lot of smut in that. But the tension is tensioning.
That's not that's not emotional.
No, but it is though, because like at the end of the Night Prince, it was like the emotional connection was, and along with that was the tension. That's my point. Blood of Hercules, you need to read that book. Okay, the duology is so good. It's actually so good because it's slow burn, but also at the same time, the emotional connection in that one it's just, but then also you read things that you're like, I've never read this before. Why am I reading this? But why do I like it?
No, literally, it makes you question things about yourself. You're like, would I like that? Like, what is happening? Like, is this like interesting to read or what's going on?
No, like literally, I finished it because it ends with like a pretty interesting scene. Like the last book, because it's a 2-book series, it's a duology. It ends with a pretty interesting scene, and I put the book down and I was like, I don't know what to do next, because that was a little crazy. I've never read that before. So that was a dark romance. I've never read that before. What do I do now?
Literally, and it's the fact, like, those are my like favorite to read and like spicy scenes, because if it's just like basic stuff, I'm like, okay, this is fine, but like, let's move on, right? But when it's like, no, when you were texting me about like some of it, right? And when I read that scene that I texted you about in the sports romance, I was thinking about what you said about your book, and I'm like, wait, if I like this and this word romance, maybe I should read Blood of Hercules.
Anyways, this is reading between the lines.
Okay, so basically, I just want to talk about sports romances in general because usually we're a romantasy fantasy podcast, right? But I don't know how a miracle happened, and I got Alexis to read sports romances. It took two to let you like really get into it because the first one I recommended, I was like, it's so sweet, but there's like a good spice in it, but it's so sweet too. And you're like, I need more smut. So I was like, okay, what other books?
Way to just out me like that. Okay, thanks.
And so then I was like, here's a book where that's like the whole plot line, and you're like, love, and I'm like, great.
Okay, listen. The first one was Play Along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was that one was baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That one was good. I don't want to discount it. It was still good, okay? It was good. It dipped my toes into the world, right? But listen, speaking as somebody who's engaged to a baseball boy, okay? I love baseball. Baseball's great. Baseball boys are adorable, okay? We love baseball boys. They're hot, okay? Period.
I don't know if they want to be called adorable, but let's just keep going.
Okay, but they're hot. You can admit that, right?
I don't watch baseball.
Well, what the heck? Get with the program.
No.
Baseball outfits are hot.
Yeah.
They are. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like this. But I don't know. My problem with sports romances is it hits a little too close to home. Not because I'm out here doing any of those things, but because it's like too close to real life. So Play Along was really cute. I liked it. I just thought that, I mean, it was entertaining for sure. I liked the hockey romances so much better than I did baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I love the slow burn, the tension in a sports romance, right? Like, I love that. I live for that. And after you were like, it's good, but it's not my favorite, I was like, okay, we got to reevaluate which books. You have no idea how much time and effort I put in recommending you every single book. Each book is so intentional, and each book I don't recommend is also very intentional. Like, there's some books that I'm like, okay, she's not gonna like this because A, B, and C, and like this is too close to home, so I'm not gonna recommend this. And I'm like, I put so much thought into this.
I appreciate that. It's like we're friends. That's also, you know, way too much about me. Here's the thing. I love slow burns, okay? I really do, but only in fantasy books and romantasy. Like, I think I just don't like it in romance books because in my brain, I'm like, it's romance. Like, we should just get straight to it. Why are we slow burning?
And in fantasy, like, there's a reason they're not together. There's like a main reason. But in rom-com and sports romance, it's like, these are real life problems. Like, these are like, you can overcome this. Why aren't you together? But in fantasy or romantasy, it's like life and death situations, basically.
Exactly. Enemies to lovers is not a real thing in life. Like, it really truly isn't.
It's like annoying to lovers, dislike to lovers, but like not truly really enemies.
Right. And like the slow burn, like it's just, that's like the talking phase in real life. Like, it's just not really a thing. True. And so that's why I just think I didn't like it. But then I read Hat Trick, right? That was the second one that I read?
Yes.
I think it's Chelsea Curto. Is that what it is? Curto?
That's what I thought, but then I'm like, there's an A at the end, so I don't know if that's silent. I don't know, but yeah.
I think it's Chelsea Curto.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is because I saw somebody do a thing. That's how somebody else pronounced it, like an influencer who was doing like a review of one of the books. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
I like her. I like her writing style. So, because nothing against Liz Tomforty, but I think that because she wrote Mile High too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Mile High that much.
Listen, Mile High is like usually people's least favorite of like the Windy City series, but I had you read it because it has the most smut and it has it like so early on compared to the other one. So that's why I had you read it.
I was going to go in order of the ones that I read, but Mile High was good.
Yes.
But I cried so much with that book. That book was too emotional for me because I feel like, okay, that's not true. I cried with Hat Trick too. But Hat Trick and Power Play, the reason why I liked them so much was because it was like, this is something that I can just read to turn my brain off. And it was like cute, but it was also emotional. But it was like just cute. And there was obviously smut and stuff. Like, it was just like I turn my brain off. I don't want to have to go through emotional trauma because I go through enough of that with fantasy, okay? Like, I don't need emotional trauma.
Yeah, I get that. And that's what all of Liz Tomforty's books are. Like, I love the emotional. Like, I love when I can like relate and I can get like emotional for books. So that's why I love that. But also, I feel like Mile High is a little too long. Like, it doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah. I did feel like it dragged on a little bit because I was like, I also didn't love the MMC in that one. I'm sorry.
That was touch and go. Like, when I recommended it, I was like, I don't know. Like, that was one that I kind of put off, but then I wanted you to read more Windy City and you wanted more smut. So I was like, I don't know. I'll like just read it, give it a try, I guess.
Listen, nothing is going to catch Liam and Piper. I just like, I don't know why, but I just relate to Piper so much. And Liam is very similar to my fiance, I feel like, in just some ways, like the way that he talks. And so I feel like that's why I just related to it so much. Like, I don't know. Like, it obviously I've never experienced what that book is, but like the way that they just both kind of opened up, I don't know what it is. That book just did something to me. I don't know how to explain it.
Power Play was definitely my second favorite, probably, in the DC Star series. My first was Hat Trick. Now, maybe it's because I was looking forward to it because, you know, there was like little Easter eggs. I know you read that one first, but if you started from the first book and they went in order, there was Easter eggs about those two getting together. But then in the first like 3 chapters, I was already emotional. I was like, what is this book?
I know, I was like, what the heck?
Because I read it like the back, and I'm pretty sure it said like he gets injured and she helps him get back on his feet. And I was like, oh, so like a torn ACL or a broken bone or something. And that's not what it was. And I was like, this is so much more serious than I originally thought. And that added to the emotional depth of it all.
Which it was good, but I was like,
yeah,
this is no, this is depressing.
Yeah, but it was so good and it was freaky. That was also why I liked it, because I was like, oh.
It was a little freaky, but so was Power Play. Power Play was freaky. Like the one scene where they're on the phone with the ex-husband, that scene lives rent-free in my brain. Okay, I love that scene.
That was crazy. But I love it. And like the recording, right? That was that. Yeah. I was like, oh. Okay.
Oh. I mean, that's what, practice, live and learn,
There's a scene like that in Daydream by Hannah Grace.
That's the one that everybody loved? No. Icebreaker was the one that was like.
I personally love Daydream more. Icebreaker's more smutty, but Daydream I like more.
But you haven't recommended those ones to me yet.
Because there's so many of them. And I read those like a while ago. And I have Daydream, like the physical copy. I don't have the physical copy of Icebreaker. And I do want you to read The Deal next. That's the next sports romance.
Okay.
Because it comes out in May on Prime. So.
And then I have to watch the show?
Obviously. And then we have to talk about it.
It's going to be a long show. Is this going to be like Bridgerton? Or am I going to be hooked now? Am I going to have something else taking up my life?
Yep. But like there's so many like Elle Kennedy writes a lot of books that are all connected somehow. Like the Off-Campus series, and then there's the Briar U, and then there's like another one, and it's like dealing with the siblings of the OGs or like the kids of the OGs. And so it's like all connected. So like you have all of those to choose from. And then all of Liz Tomforty's writings and Chelsea Curto and like Hannah Grace. And it's like so many of them. And then Peyton Corinne, that's another one, which I don't know if you'd like that one because those are like very emotional, like very, yeah. So I don't know if you like those, but those are other sports romances. So there's a lot to choose from. Okay, I'm doing my best recommending.
See, here's the problem: my TBR is already too long because of all the fantasy books. Okay,
I know, that's why I keep recommending like one at a time. Or when you say I want a sports romance, I'm like, okay, here, read this one next.
you told me to download the rest of the Windy City series, which I don't know if I want to do that now. I think I should just read the deal instead.
That's okay. That's okay. But I do want you to read the Windy City series eventually.
I know that's your favorite, but I didn't like Mile High, so now I feel like I'm gonna be disappointed.
No, trust me. It's so good. Mile High is like my least favorite one. Like The Right Move and Play Along are my favorites, and then Caught Up and Rewind It Back, and then Mile High or something like that.
Play Along was good, but okay. Are they all baseball?
No. So Mile High is hockey. The Right Move is basketball.
Ugh.
Caught Up and Play Along are baseball, and then Rewind It Back is hockey.
Feel like I'd rather like the hockey ones than I don't think I like basketball.
There are pros and it's like the first one I read, so it like has a special place in my heart. And I haven't really recommended it because there are definitely some things that I'm like, I don't know if you'd like in this one, but there are other things I'm like, you're gonna love it in this. So I don't know.
What does that mean?
Also, like the spice takes the longest in this book, I feel like. Like the tension and the slow burn takes up a lot of space, but there's also a lot of jealousy and like taking care of each other and things like that. So Stevie, you know, in Mile High,
Yeah.
her brother is the MMC and the Right Move, and her best friend is the FMC, and they have to live together.
So Indy or whatever her name was?
Mm-hmm. At some point in your life, you are going to read every single book in the Windy City, but it's okay if you don't want to read it now.
She literally just said, at some point in your life, you are going to. You just literally, I have to before I die, apparently. Then you have to read Blood of Hercules because we need to talk about that scene.
I was planning on it at some point.
Soon. Okay. Yeah. I'm putting that one higher than some of the other ones that I've recommended.
There's one thing I wanted to say about sports romances is that I don't read about the sports that I actually watch. Football, I don't read about, and Formula One, I don't read about. Because I watch those.
Why?
Like, because I just it's like how you read hockey and you're like, I can't watch hockey the same way. Like that's kind of me. Like I want it to stay a sport. I don't want to have other thoughts about it other than which football players are doing it, right? Like which ones are secretly.
Yeah, no, I can't watch hockey the same anymore because I'm like,
yeah,
who's getting freaky behind the scenes now? Like
literally. So, and that's especially with Formula One, because Formula One I watch and am more invested in it than football. And there are like Formula One books, especially by like authors I like, but I'm like, I just can't get myself to read them.
See, I would, yeah, because here's what happened. I read Hat Trick and then I read Power Play.
Mm-hmm.
As already been stated, Power Play took up my life.
Yeah.
I read it in like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But it took up like 2 weeks of my life, okay? I was obsessed with that book. But then the Olympics were happening when I was reading it. And I only watched the Winter Olympics for hockey, okay? And there are some cute hockey players on the U.S. hockey team. And I was thinking about Power Play while I was watching hockey. And I'm like, I have now ruined my favorite sport for the rest of eternity.
And that is why I keep to the sports I don't watch.
Okay, but it's kind of fun to think about, though.
Yeah, it is. But also, it's lucky for me that the sports that are written about the most, like hockey, is probably the top one, and like baseball is probably the second one, right?
Yeah.
I went to 2 baseball like 2 or 3 baseball games in my entire life because I was with a group of people. Like I literally, and I've never watched a single lick of hockey in my life. So it's like
That's kind of depressing, but okay. You're from Minnesota.
I know, but we're not a hockey family. We're a football family.
But you're from Minnesota. That's depressing. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I literally could not tell you a single thing about hockey besides what I've read in the books.
Which is what?
Penalty box. Throwing people into the boards. Stuff like that.
I mean, that's so fair because listen, if I like, do you think like the wives of hockey players read hockey romances? Like, do you think that's a thing? I wonder.
I wonder. You know, I was thinking about this because I'm like, I actually don't know if I could end up with like a professional sports player, like one of the main
Was
ones.
that in the cards? Was that in the
I don't know. Maybe.
you acting as though like there was one like outside your door, like that was in the cards. Okay.
Anything's possible. I'm single and have no prospects. Anyways.
Okay.
So I was thinking about that because I'm like, I actually like feel like that's too close to my books. I'm like, that's actually, but on the flip side, I'm like, if I end up with someone who's not that, I'm gonna be disappointed. Because they don't live up to my books, you know?
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you just went, I need to be with a professional athlete.
Yeah, but there's also drawbacks to being with a professional athlete.
Because why?
Because they're too close to my books. And if they don't live up to the hype, that's going to be disappointing.
Girlfriend, they're fake in the books. Nobody's going to live up to your books. Nobody is ever going to be anybody in the books. I'm sorry. You have to make peace with the fact that nobody's ever going to be a Zayden Ryerson. Nobody's ever going to be a Castile Denier.
Those are fantasy books. No. I'm not expecting people to do those. I'm expecting a Ryan Shea, an Isaiah Rhodes, a Liam Sullivan.
Wish. Literally wish. But nobody's going to be like that because it was written by a woman.
You never know. Okay.
Girl, you have some really high standards. Also, where are we meeting said professional athlete?
I haven't figured that out yet. That's still a work in progress, considering I never leave my house.
I was going to say, you also live in the middle of nowhere. So...
I'm expecting them to find me.
Good luck.
Thanks.
I don't know what... I mean, I'm sure they'll live up to the hype. I don't know.
Why would I settle for anything less though? Like, let's be real about this, right? Like, I am not gonna settle for anything less than my standards.
Less than a professional athlete or less than like a book boy?
Like a book boy.
Okay, because I'm like, we might have to settle for less than a professional athlete.
That's okay.
Let's bring that part down a little.
But like less than a book boy for the most part, right?
Am I settling?
Are you?
I don't know.
It's your relationship. You would know better than me.
I mean, I think he's pretty cool. So you have said that he's like a book boy in real life.
Well, yeah, it seems like it.
Okay.
I feel like we're having an argument and I don't know what the argument is.
You're like, I don't know how to defend
about
this,
something, but it's not clicking.
What are you saying standards for book boy? Are you saying like emotionally, physically, or what? Like, what are you saying?
All of the above. It's already bad enough that I have to end up with a man. Like, I like men. That's so annoying. Like, they better meet the standard. The majority of the male species sucks. So, like, if I have to waste my time talking to men trying to find the one I'm going to end up with, like, they better be perfect in my eyes. And going back to sports romances, that's to blame them. But also, it raises my standards so that I don't get hurt by a slimy, disgusting man that doesn't deserve my time or energy, right? Like, I've never really had that because I have such high standards. I feel like you're more concerned than you are entertained right now.
I'm a little bit about, I am concerned for you, yes.
And it's actually concerning me because I'm like, wow, you never get concerned. You're just like entertained by my life choices. You're never like, what is stuff to think about that?
I am entertained, but I'm like, dude, This is why you're single. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna settle for a mediocre man.
You shouldn't.
I'd rather be single. I'm fine being single.
This is why I said you are a Lexi. You are not a Piper.
That I
You
can
are
see
so
how you're
Lexi from Hat Trick. You so are.
I can see how you can make that connection. Yeah.
She literally said everything that you just said.
What are your least favorite things about sports romances so far?
One of my least favorite things?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what I didn't like in Mile High was the emotional abuse sounds way too dramatic.
Like
But that's
between Xander's and Stevie?
Yeah.
The emotional immaturity.
Maybe that's a better word. Yeah. Like that part bothers me a little bit. And I also don't like the slow burn like we talked about earlier because it's basically like in real life. And I don't know. I think that the reason why I was so opposed to sports romances before and rom-coms was just because I'm like, I don't want to read this and then like you said, like have it ruin the sport for me or like have it ruin because I was traumatized because I read King of Wrath like 2 years ago. I bought the entire series of that. There's King of Wrath, King of Pride, King of Greed, okay? I bought all of them stupidly without reading the back, thinking that it was a fantasy series. It is not. So I read King of Wrath, and it's a billionaire romance. And it ruined me because, why it took me so long to get back into anything other than fantasy, because he was low-key a little abusive.
And that's what I don't like about some books too. Yeah.
But let me say, but now after reading other things, I wonder if I would go back and would like some of the things that were originally there because I read it way at the beginning of my reading journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was still like innocent.
Yeah.
Like ACOTAR is like, okay, so it was more than 2 years ago. But like ACOTAR was like, oh, like cute. Like they are a little freaky, but they're not that freaky.
I could definitely see that. But billionaire romances aren't my favorite either. I just read like the fine print and terms of condition and whatever that other one was.
Yeah.
The final offer. I read that. I don't know what the series is called, but I read those 3 books. Not my favorite. I mean, they were good, but I wouldn't reread them. And that's when I realized I didn't want a billionaire.
I just feel like billionaire romances just aren't the same because I feel like billionaires already have the personality of like too much power. And I feel like that plays into then the romance, and that's why I didn't like it.
Yes.
So that's why it ruined me because then when I read the first sports romance, I was like, oh, the guy's actually cute and innocent. Like he's not going to do something to hurt her.
Yeah, exactly. And I also wanted to mention going back to like sports romances setting the standards. Like it's funny to talk about like, oh, like I want, whatever. But honestly, I've thought about this and I'm like, it doesn't matter their job. And like that's like obvious, right? But like I want the guy in the sports romance, like how they treat their women, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like with the respect and love and which that should be the bare minimum, right? But it's not in this day and age. It's really not. Like I want the man to be obsessed. And I feel like that's not too much to ask.
No, it's not. Mine is obsessed with me.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying. And I think that that's why maybe I was so afraid of because like in fantasy and romantasy, like the MMC is always head over heels obsessed and like possessed by this woman, like cannot like not think about her and like needs her. And even though they're enemies to lovers or whatever, like can't get her out of their head and like wants to slit their throat but also wants to do them, like that sort of thing, right? And it's like I need that, but in a romance, like a sports romance, and I'm like that doesn't those lines don't cross. Like,
Yeah,
no. So that's why I was like, this is gonna be. I also don't like it when it's cheesy. I don't want it to be cheesy.
yeah.
So I don't think that Hat Trick or Power Play was cheesy in any way, shape, or form, though. So Play
No,
Along wasn't cheesy either. A little bit, but not really.
not really.
Do not like billionaire romances. I mean, good for the people that like them, but not me.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'll stick with my sports romance and romantasy, occasional rom-com.
Yeah. See, because I read like, but I think that I love fantasy so much because I love the world building and I love the the fact that I have to put so much thought and brain effort into fantasy books. But then it gets to a point where you put so much thought and effort and mental effort into fantasy books that it's like, okay, I'm so burnt out from putting so much mental effort into this that like my brain is fried and now I don't know what to do. So that's when like, okay, now that I know the sports romances are okay, I can read one. But I think that I love the like, obviously I love the smut, but I love the fantasy because I love to be able to like theorize and the magic and the world building and like because it's different than like just a sports romance. But now that I know like I can have both, you know.
Yeah, well, and with fantasy, anything's possible. Literally anything is possible. You can use your imagination to the fullest. And with sports romances, yeah, like there are things that are dramatized for the book and like for the characters and stuff, but it is like real life. And that's also kind of why I like it because I'm like, and this is gonna sound maybe a little depressing, but I'm like, life can be this fun. Like life can be like this found family and stuff. Like and that's why I love the Windy City so much because they have this found family and they're living their perfect lives and finding their perfect people who they're obsessed with and like living the life that makes them the happiest. And that's what I love. And I'm like, this could be real.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
gives me hope, I guess, for the future.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I
Yeah.
think that this is gonna make me sound like a terrible human being. I understand now why people like they say like I like my smutty little sports romance. Like
Mhm.
because it's like you don't even have to like pay attention. Like you can just read it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
and also not that I need to get on this soapbox, but I'm gonna because didn't Sarah J. Maas say this too? Like I hate when people are like that smutty books are porn.
Yeah.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad because it's truly not.
No, there's so much more. And no matter like the genre, like there's such an emotional aspect to it.
Correct.
And especially if you can relate to the characters and the characters' struggles and you feel less alone with that too.
Yeah.
Like there's so much more that when people say that, like they belittle the genre
Yeah.
itself in the books. It's like, no, like this book has made me feel more than you have ever. Like,
Literally.
okay, but also on the flip side, you know, when you, okay, obviously you haven't dealt with this for a while, but like when you've had a crush, right? And you think about them and it's like a crush is just lack of information, right?
Okay.
I feel like, for me at least, when I read sports romances, I think like, oh, this guy has way, way more potential than what he actually has. So I'm reading these sports romances and he was like, oh, and thinking like, oh, he's probably like A, B, and C. Like that'd be great, you know? And it makes me think way more highly of them than I really should, you know, because I don't really know everything. And I'm like, oh, they're probably like this, and they're probably like this character in this book, you know? Do you catching what I'm throwing down?
No.
What?
No.
Have you heard that saying where it's like a crush is just lack of information?
Yes. But
Okay,
explain what that has to do with the book. I don't understand
so
what
I'm
you're saying.
saying with people who don't read, they're probably like it's just like normal, like everyday, like things you want in a guy, like thinking they're so amazing and stuff, right? But for readers, I feel like it's heightened because we read so many books written by women and read about so many men that are like so much better than real men, right? So I feel like our expectations are higher. And so that whole lack of information is doing us more of a disservice than it does to non-readers.
In real life.
Yes.
Okay. What I thought you were talking about was in the book while you're reading
No.
it. I was like,
No.
you know what happens. You know the dude, like what?
Yeah,
I was
no.
so confused at what you were saying. Okay. Yes, agree wholeheartedly. Because it kind of does do you a disservice. But at the same time, to go back what you said earlier, it kind of also then puts your standards a little bit higher.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. The people who do say that though, that really bothers me because especially in the circles that I'm in, because it bothers me because it's like it's really not, because obviously we've established this. I've said this so many times. I loved Power Play. I love Liam and Piper. And obviously they were freaky. Obviously, they were super freaky. But it wasn't even that why I loved it so much. I loved it so much because Liam just cared for Piper in such a way that was like, that's how every girl desires to be cared for.
Mhm.
Especially in the bedroom. Like,
Yeah.
that's a very intimate place and it's scary, especially if you've been hurt there before.
Yeah.
And so for Liam to be so careful with her and then to be to the point where they could be that freaky because they felt so comfortable with each other, like that's why it was so good, is because he was willing to learn her and her body and her emotions and know her enough where he could then like treat her well and all that. Like it's so much more than just the fact that they have sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
So like people bother me when they say that because it's that. Like obviously we learn things that we want to try in real life, but
Yeah.
it's that on top of it too.
Uh-huh. But also, I don't know why they'd be complaining about that. Like that would benefit them. So
What was my least favorite things? I answered that.
yeah, what's your favorite things?
About sports romances?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is my favorite thing, but I said it already. I like that I'm able to like turn my brain off because it's so like it's not as emotionally traumatizing as fantasy books, because it's like there's no like the world is not going to end with this couple. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they're bound to end up together.
Right. That's actually something that I didn't like. Let's go back. Something that I didn't like, but did like, but also didn't like, was that two things. One, I liked that we got the guy's POV. Love that. But at the same time, I didn't like that we knew who they were going to end up with like right away.
Yeah, but you have said that before in other episodes that you don't like the duo POV because you know who they're going to end up with.
Right. But then there's like Blood of Hercules, which is not dual POV, it's multiple POV. So like,
and that's different, yeah.
so then you're like, okay, there's multiple options. So then it keeps you on your toes. But I feel like you can't do that with a sports romance because it's like there's not going to be multiple people that she could possibly end up with.
How do you feel about third act breakups?
Explain. Like I know what it is, but like explain.
Like when it comes towards the end of the book and there's some reason that they have a fight or they can't be together and they separate.
Yeah.
And then they have to like find their way back to each other in the end, like make up. How do you feel about that?
Well, I didn't like it in Mile High because it was way too emotional. I don't remember. Was there one in Power Play?
I don't think Chelsea Curto writes them. I don't think they're.
Because hers was more like they were just like, we both love each other, but we don't want to admit to the fact that we love each other.
Yeah.
Because we're married, but we want to try to get out of it, but like we both love each other. So like,
yeah. I mean, not all authors write third act breakups in sports romances.
I don't think because obviously I only read one, but I don't think I like it because it's like, this is too emotional and I don't like it. I also have never dealt with a breakup in my life. So, and I will never have to. It's just emotional because I'm like, I never would want to have to deal with that myself. Like, I could not imagine watching somebody else of reading it is scary.
Yeah.
And it stresses me out.
I could also make the argument that sports romances could be more emotional than fantasy at some point, only for the reason that the things that happen in this book could happen in real life, and they do happen. In fantasy, it's another world. Like, there's magic, there's a bunch of things, like, yeah, it's really sad, and yeah, I have cried for fantasy books, but sports romances, like, these are real life problems that you could deal with, or maybe you have dealt with.
Yeah, which you could make that argument. The only thing is that, like, okay, that is actually accurate, but but also though, the difference I think is that it's easier to connect with a character in a fantasy book than it is with a sports romance book. Like, I connected, like yeah, like I could connect so much easier with Aelin and Farah, and you know what I mean, like people in a fantasy book. Like, obviously I said I really like Piper and I connected with her, but it's like it's not the same. But the things that they went through could happen in real life, like they as a couple.
Yeah, and also, like, fantasy, I don't think there's been ever like one singular fantasy book, right? Like, for it, like, there's always a series or a duology or something like that. So we get more of the character and more in depth about every single thing they're going through.
Yeah.
So that's also probably why.
Because also, yeah, if we're getting dual POV in the sports romance, we only get like half the book of them anyway.
Yeah, and there's only one book. I mean, there might be like they might be in other books, like as like friends of the main characters or something, but we don't get like their inner monologue.
Right. I mean, I feel like that could be true, that sports romances are more emotional. Yet we have cried our eyes out at fantasy books though, so let's not discount that.
Well,
But it's for different reasons though. Like, it's not because it's real life, it's because somebody died, or because like something really emotional happened between the couple that like is really like somebody died.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 it's somebody dying. You might have to deal with it in real life. I mean, people die. But like in a sports romance, like that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, I think like what I like about sports romances is like I know that it's always gonna be a happy ending. With fantasy books, if the series is not over, there's not a happy ending yet.
Yeah.
There's still sometimes not even a happy ending, even if it is ended. Like, Throne of Glass kind of had a happy ending, but still, like, you still.
But there were still sad things about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. I want to reread that series, but I don't know if I have the mental capacity for that.
That took so much mental and emotional energy. I think I'm gonna have to wait like a decade before I reread that. Like, it was so much.
But it's so good.
It's so good, but it was so much.
It's one of those things where it's your Roman Empire because you think about it all the time. And you don't you don't realize it until you catch yourself being like, OMG, I'm actually thinking about Kingdom of Ash right now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now I'm sad.
Also, when people say that you can't like dive into your books and experience it, that's also what's really sad. But also, going back to sports romances, like, no, you can't experience it, but I feel like taking out the sports part of it, right? And like, you could possibly have like a love and a romance like that. Yeah. I hope everyone has a romance like the ones in the books, right?
Yeah. Well, like, obviously it's not going to be all sunshine and roses and whatever. Like, it's still gonna be hard because life is hard, but yes, romance, like, there's still like love and romance and fun and like you can still do all those things. Like, I do love that like it was in Hat Trick where it was all the things that they wrote down that for Riley that they want to do, right? Riley wants to do or something. Like, again, and hockey was one of them or something. Yeah. And like they ended up doing them all. It's like, that's cute. That's actually accurate. Something that you can do in life. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. This is Reading Between the Lines. Thank you so much for listening. We have a lot of authors coming on, I feel like, which is gonna be super cool. But apparently we're gonna be talking about The Deal because I need to read that, and then the show's gonna come out, so that'll happen. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. I don't know what to say.